Does anyone even logic?
Who gets to discriminate? And where would it stop? What if it was a Jewish wedding? Okay, no, bear with me. And the floor said, I don't want to participate in that kind of religious system.
I would find another florist happily.
Yeah, okay. But once we set that kind of precedence, where will it end? And I think,
with them going out of business. Because everybody will find another florist. That's where it'll end.
No, that's all cute. That's all cute.
That's not cute. That's real.
No.
The lunch counter protests against the lunch counter protests that are so famous in the civil rights movement occurred as a voluntary boycott in the early '60s, long before the civil rights movement, and it integrated. They integrated the business because of that. Capitalism discriminates against no color, no creed, and no sexuality. They want the cash.
Integration was done by force.
Yeah.
By force.
Against state government.
Most whites did not want to
you live a
blacks.
very comfortable life. If you're going to talk about civil rights, let's talk about what happened for people trying to get served.
Let's make sure we're hearing
against state governments that were compelling segregation.
One second, Ben. Let's make sure we're hearing each other. What was it that, Ben, you concluded with? It was
Woolworths that was voluntarily.
It was state governments.
What I was saying there is that state governments were the source of segregation in the first place. People who think that Jim Crow was a voluntary system in which people just decided that they wanted to segregate their businesses are incorrect. There were Jim Crow laws on the books. The law in the state of Alabama is that you needed a 7-foot-high wall in your restaurant. Okay, this idea that the government always has clean hands and that it's individuals who are the problem, and that capitalism, in the absence of government compulsion, is not the solution to discrimination, must have missed the last 50-odd years of history in this country.
Let's have the Reverend. You had something.
I think Ben, the enormous inequality in our economic system is in part because of your divine term, freedom, and to think that. Okay, hey, bear with me. To think that freedom is always the answer. It's always the answer, isn't it?
Hold up. I would like to.
History, folks.
Why do you believe that government compulsion is always the answer? Read history.
You turn.
Is it that fleece you?
Do you think poverty is part of genetics? Answering your questions.
No, you can't say that. I don't think wealth, personally, I don't think wealth and genetics have anything to do with each other, actually. If you're born in the U.S., it really doesn't matter the condition of your birth. What matters is what you inherit from your nurturing, from your environment, whether or not you're going, I'm just from the standpoint of having been born with little. You can always get out of that. Poverty is just...
But environment effects.
Yeah. Say you're born as one of the untouchables in India. There you are. And if you're born into the super rich, there you are. Here, you can be born to the super rich, but 3-4 generations down the line, it's gone. That's
here's
in
a
this country.
Here's a stat from your show, and it says that the richest 85 people on this planet have as much money as the poorest 3.5 billion.
Yeah, right. That's on the planet, however.
It's not far off in America.
No, it isn't far off in America, but we still here don't abandon the idea that it isn't finite.
Yeah.
It isn't finite if you were born, where were you born?
Me?
Yeah.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Baton Rouge General Hospital.
Baton Rouge.
There you go.
Louisiana. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are.
Right.
So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and here we sit at the dining table.
But it's hard to, when you say that to some people, because they say, oh, there you go with a pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, and, you know, you're just being respectable. Not everybody can do that.
Well, everybody can. Everybody doesn't. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, well, I'll never get out of this. So they won't. I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, well, you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
If you can conceive it in your mind.
If you can think of it, you can do it. That's the human condition. If we can imagine it, we can do it.
Right.
And I think that's the condition of each individual human.
Right. So the whole thing, especially the president and Democrats now are talking about income inequality, and that's basically what, you know, when you talk about the richest 85 people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
It's income inequality. Do you think that's, looking at, you know, what's happening in the news now, is that a good idea?
It's a great idea. It is the greatest idea. We have a much more vibrant society when we don't have such a vast chasm between the haves and the have-nots. We need that middle ground that we call the middle class, the people who buy everything.
And we are going to raise taxes on the middle class.
People who use the products that the rich are creating, if they're creating anything other than wealth, right? So it's what's happening with the Chinese economy right now. They're changing their whole outlook because they need consumers.
Yeah.
And without a middle class, you're not going to have consumers. You're not going to have it at the level that we normally would have it.
So can I go back to, because I thought what you said was fascinating, because you called it bull when you said people can't, you know, pull themselves up. Do you think that race plays a part in wealth distribution, or either a mindset that you can't
Today?
or cannot? Yeah.
No.
You don't?
No, I don't. I don't. You and I, we're proof. Why would race have anything to do with it? Put your mind to what you want to do and go for that. It's kind of like religion to me. It's a good excuse for not getting there.
Yeah. You know, I said, and it's probably get me in trouble, but I said to some of my colleagues recently, so I know that it's an issue, but it seems like every single day on television I'm talking about race, and it's because of the news cycle, it's in the news, but sometimes I get so tired of talking about it, I want to just go, this is over, can we move on?
And if you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like it exists and we refuse to talk about it, but making it a bigger issue than it needs to be is the problem we have.
I do agree that there is stigma that I have to deal with because I am fat, but I'm actually really in celebration of my body. I find beauty in diversity. I think we come in all shapes and sizes. And the assumption that we've dealt with a lot on this show is that just because you're obese, you must overeat. You must have an eating disorder. I know that not to be the case. I know you can have a healthy relationship.
Now, Mimi, you say this is misleading. Go have at it a little bit.
Well, I certainly think that we all want to feel good about ourselves. That's understandable. I don't think people should feel demeaned by their size. And I also couldn't agree more with the message of daily exercise. No matter what size you are, you'll certainly benefit from daily exercise. You can't be healthy without that. But then let's talk about where we disagree. Look, if you want to feel good about yourself, it's impossible to feel good about yourself when you're doing something that's self-destructive. Also, self-destructive behaviors that result in damage or debilitation or even disfigurement to the body, that's never going to be perceived as beautiful.
The thing is that I think that the Hayes approach, the health at every size approach, has been documented to work. And it's been documented to work year after year.
What do you mean work? What do you mean work? Because a health at every size is a lie. If you starve yourself into damage, that's unhealthy. Or if you eat yourself into damage, that's not healthy.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
That's just not.
Here,
that's not true.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
That's like saying that.
Weight
let's say you were a smoker. Let's say you're a smoker and have black lungs, and you try to say that's healthy because you don't have cancer yet. We know that it is actually factual that obesity is dangerous, and it's connected to cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's. We even know it's connected to an increase in birth defects. So there's nothing left to debate.
Mimi?
It's not beautiful. It's not healthy.
I think you need to separate the idea of weight from healthy behavior.